An historic building sits on a street, worse for wear, either vacant or partially so. It was once a gem along the streetscape, an important community fixture that has gone past its supposed prime. People walk by, ponder the scene before them, and say, they should do something with that building. This scene can be set in any of our cities and towns across Massachusetts. Whether it's a large 19th century mill complex, an old commercial block, or historic theater showing its age and lack of use, the same people are called upon to do something. But who are they? Restoring and rehabilitating historic buildings truly takes a village. They are a dedicated team of individuals who begin working toward the goal of a restored building long before the scaffolding goes up and shovels break ground. They are the people behind the scenes who turn these restoration projects from ideas into reality, breathe new life into our historic buildings, and help revitalize our communities. They are more than just the developers, architects, and contractors. They are the planners, preservation consultants, lawyers, accountants, bankers, engineers, project managers, just to name a few. Whether it's one person or a large national firm, they each play an extremely important role in making these projects happen. They are deserving of recognition for the contributions they make to historic preservation, economic development, community revitalization, and our collective quality of life. Over the next 3 years, Preservation Massachusetts will pull back the curtain to show how they all work together as comprehensive teams that are restoring numerous historic properties across our state. From identifying important historic resources for restoration to groundbreaking, from construction through the grand opening, and the resulting projects themselves and the positive impacts they are making on their communities. As it has for the past 26 years, the Paul E. Tsongas Award recognizes those who have played an extraordinary role in promoting the preservation of our Commonwealth's past for the benefit of the future. This year's awardees truly embody the very meaning of the Tsongas Award, and we are honored to celebrate their accomplishments this evening. The starting point of this whole journey is, of course, with the historic building, and someone to take stock of that building and see the potential that lies within. The developer ultimately becomes the face for the building and the conceptual project, bringing together the team that will ultimately make it a reality. Developers and their teams know that quite often, the buildings and their restorations are complex and intricate projects. More often than not, they require a lot of creativity, vision, and an appreciation not only for the building, but for their surrounding community. Mira Development, under the leadership of Ed Walsh and Bob Delhomme, demonstrated this with their work on the lofts at Perkins Park in Lowell. As a Lowell native, Ed was especially excited about the positive impact that this public-private partnership would have on the community. It was his vision, enthusiasm, and unstoppable drive that enabled an abandoned eyesore in a distressed neighborhood to become a vibrant part of the community. The lofts at Perkins Park went on to receive numerous awards, only adding to the great work that Ed and Bob achieved together. Under the leadership of Matthew Middlestat, E.A. Fish Development has undertaken a number of historic restoration projects, including projects like Linwood Mill in Northbridge and Renaissance on the River in Lowell. Both took advantage of important historic rehab tax credits. According to Matt, the key to successful historic preservation work is inspiring your team to possess both long-term vision and a fanatical attention to detail. Stratford Capital Group has extensive experience in identifying unique opportunities, site selection, underwriting, and acquisition, skills which they have leveraged into successful developments that utilize tax credits. Principal Richard Hayden has found unique opportunities with restoring historic school buildings for quality rental housing, and preserved a number of schools from Peabody, Weymouth, Athol, and Yarmouth. The historic fabric of Massachusetts is an asset when developers look to specialize in historic restorations. Chris Starr of Starr Development Partners formed a joint venture in 2008 with Brady Sullivan Properties that focuses specifically on the development of market and affordable rental housing in historic mill buildings. Their successful projects include the Lancaster Mill in Clinton and several pre-development projects in the works in Worcester and Orange. As a real estate development, management, and investment firm, First Resource Companies has been recognized for their quality work regarding historic preservation. President and founder Gordon Pulsifer has focused the company in recent years on acquiring and revitalizing troubled and abandoned properties in urban neighborhoods. Along with Ann Ellen Pulsifer and their team, their restoration projects have helped to rebuild neighborhoods, overcome difficult market conditions, and provide safe and decent housing for their residents. The team at Berkeley Investments, led by Young Park, Mark Barrer, and Eric Ekman, take an entrepreneurial focus on urban, commercial, and mixed-use properties. Their restoration of the massive Waltham Watch complex has garnered a lot of attention with its multi-phase rehabilitation that will result in a vibrant mix of office, residential, and retail space along the Charles River. Berkeley enjoys the challenge of preservation through adaptive reuse and leveraging this historic character of a building to create an interesting and attractive place to live and work. At the Architectural Heritage Foundation, Sean McDonnell and Kara Anderson guide their nonprofit mission to preserve and reuse historic resources by playing a number of roles in the development process, from feasibility assessments, direct development, or property management. Their long history includes large projects, such as Boston's Old City Hall and Washington Mills in Lawrence, but they are also looking at new initiatives that would assist smaller-scale projects in their development needs. As Executive Director of Historic Boston, Kathy Kotoridis has grown the development portfolio of the organization. HBI invests in the redevelopment of historically significant buildings in Boston neighborhoods. Their notable projects, including the Eustace Street Firehouse in Roxbury and the Hayden Building in Boston, are often buildings that were extremely difficult and required a different type of developer. This is a role that HBI has come to embrace with success. With the project team coming together, the preservation consultant serves an extremely important role as they assist their clients in a multitude of important ways. Their work helps ensure that what the building once was will not be forgotten. At Epsilon Associates, Doug Kelleher, Maureen Kavanaugh, and Taya Dixon make up the senior team of historic preservation specialists. Their work spans preservation planning, historic tax credits, environmental regulation, and more. Their work to date has garnered preservation projects over $500 million in federal and state historic tax credit allocations. Theirs is a key role in the early development stages to ensure timely reviews and to secure tax credit approvals. Tremont Preservation Services also specializes in preservation research, environmental review, and master planning on projects ranging from Worcester's Hanover Theatre to Boston's own Fenway Park. Leslie Donovan and Chris Beard are very grateful to their clients who have provided them the opportunity to help preserve so many wonderful historic resources in Massachusetts and beyond. No preservation project is possible without financial means and support. From direct lending and financing to tax credit investing and syndication, in order for the project to work, finances are key. And the contributions of those financial players are true investments, not just in the building itself, but in the community and beyond. Bank of America's Community Development Banking Group of New England has given tremendous support to historic preservation projects. The group, based in Boston, has invested or loaned more than $150 million to projects that have done more than just preserve an historic building. They have created more than 500 units of affordable and workforce housing, created jobs, and promoted the revitalization of communities across the state, from Sharon and Fall River to Easton and New Bedford. At Cohn Resnick, John Mackey utilizes his experience in long-range planning and real estate transactions to help realize value from older properties, structure low-income housing, historic, and new market tax credit transactions, and help developers and other team members overcome countless issues. According to John, everyone on the team has a specific, necessary role, and together they can accomplish a tremendous amount, not only to maintain these buildings as historic, but with a use that brings vitality to the community. At Redstone Equity Partners, the team of Eric McClelland, Rob Vest, and Bob Fine specialize in the syndication of tax credits to facilitate affordable housing development. They are proud of their many preservation projects in the Commonwealth that increase or preserve the supply of much-needed affordable housing while simultaneously restoring existing physical assets, creating jobs and economic opportunities in local communities. Issues can and do arise that need the support of attorneys experienced with preservation. Massachusetts is home to some of the most highly regarded firms with experience in historic tax credits, real estate, new markets and low-income tax credits, and other aspects of a development project. Holland & Knight is a national firm that is a premier provider in the area of historic rehab and tax credit financing. The legal work of James McDermott and William Machen and their colleagues assist in transactional and structuring of projects, along with reviewing compliance, facilitating communication between the National Park Service and state historic preservation offices. Their representation of numerous developers, nonprofits, syndicators, and investors has resulted in the redevelopment of a wide variety of historic properties, from commercial office buildings and mill complexes to hotels and museums. The team mentality is essential, and at Mirtha Kalina, John Gahan, Frank Capizera, and Deirdre Robinson know it takes a team to get a project from start to finish. Whether it is representing an owner or developer, being a problem solver to get it done, the collective contributions of the teams taking on these historic projects in Massachusetts has done more to preserve the character of New England's cities and towns than any other single activity. And the efforts to preserve communities in itself is its own reward. John Cornell and Forrest Milder's work at Nixon Peabody reinforces the knowledge that historic tax credits, whether federal or state, have become key drivers of downtown real estate development and community revitalization. Working with investors, developers, or others, their wealth of experience is respected nationally and is a tremendous asset to both the development and preservation communities. As the truly behind-the-scenes details, like financing and legal structuring, take place, so too is the more upfront work. Architectural work is not just design, it is an essential part of the team and process from day one, with the ideas and expertise of their architects literally transforming the building. Bob Verrier and Mike Bennett and the rest of the architectural team have built a remarkable portfolio and reputation for being a leader in historic preservation and adaptive reuse design. Bob Verrier has made a career of preserving the architectural heritage of New England and beyond, and believes in finding new life for these distinctive historic structures. And while recognizing that preserving and converting historic structures is not without its share of unique design challenges, they strive to achieve the vision while preserving the architectural fabric that connects us to our common past. Wessling Architects, founded by Stephen Wessling, is proud to be a part of saving those worthy historically significant buildings in Massachusetts. Their work at the New England Conservatory received a Tsongas Award in 2011, and their portfolio demonstrates this full-service firm's attention to detail, appreciation for preservation, coupled with the knowledge to make historic buildings viable and sustainable into the future. At Gannett Architects, Barry Gannett and Michael Wade combine their creative imagination and passion for design that results in successful projects like Abbott Mills and Lancaster Mills. There is a satisfaction in bringing back abandoned, condemned hulks and making them current, useful, and once again part of a revitalized urban fabric. They have often thought about what the workers or even mill owners from 1870 would say if they had a chance to walk through their transformed, former cavernous industrial spaces, hopeful they would understand and perhaps even approve. Nancy Ludwig and the team at Icon Architecture see preservation as a key component in imagining urban, sustainable, mixed-use communities. With projects ranging from innovative adaptive reuse to working on master planning, transforming forgotten and neglected buildings takes a team with diverse experience. Nancy and her team embrace preservation as reinvention. The historic resources they have protected and enhanced become catalysts for community revitalization, and careful transformations of historic buildings have engaged modern design in lively compositions to reveal stories of change. The focus of practice at D'Agostino Izzo Quirk Architects has always been about the places where people gather, both those places created and those preserved. The preservation of public spaces with historic significance is of particular importance, as it is in fact the preservation of not just architecture, but also the preservation of culture, experience, and memory, both individual and collective. Charles Izzo and his team utilized their talents in the 10-year restoration process of beloved Fenway Park. With that success, they have engaged in more public space preservation, including the Rose Bowl, Dodger Stadium, and Wrigley Field. And working alongside them during this planning are the people who will take the vision and design and make it a reality, but not without a great deal of planning and consultation before any hammers start to fall. As president of Delbrook Construction, Mike Fish has developed a firm with experience in historic restorations, including Linwood Mill in Northbridge and the Hayes Building in Haverhill. They find it tremendously gratifying to bring these treasured structures back to their communities with vibrancy and character. They enjoy the work because of the challenging and sustainable nature of historic preservation. Allagrone Companies, based in Pittsfield, has extensive experience with complex restoration and renovation projects, including the Mahawi Theatre in Great Barrington, the Mount in Lenox, and the Baird and Benton Block in Lee. Lou Allagrone and his team's construction planning work on Pittsfield's Howard and Onoda buildings is seen as a continuation of the great revitalization happening in Pittsfield's downtown, much of it driven by great preservation work. Keith Construction has over 100 years of construction leadership experience, and the executive team, led by John Keith and Tim Ford, are its driving forces. With their vast knowledge of not only the construction and trade industries, but state funding organizations and programs, they are a valuable asset to the development team. Their award-winning and outstanding work can be seen from Lawrence to New Bedford, Worcester, and beyond, bringing preservation projects from idea to reality. All of this, from seeing the potential in a historic building to construction planning, represents a tremendous amount of time, hard work, and dedication. While on the outside it may not look it, the ever called upon they have in fact been doing something with that building, and now the stage is set for the action to begin. The incredible amount of work already put into the building's restoration is the foundation on which the visual transformation can occur and result in a successful project. No building can stand without a solid foundation, and tonight Preservation Massachusetts is proud to honor the incredible talent, expertise, and dedication that the 2013 Paul E. Tsongas awardees bring to countless restoration projects all over our state. The roles of tonight's honorees do not end with the start of construction, for their dedication and efforts on behalf of their projects and clients make them invested partners from start to finish. Soon, scaffolding will be raised and the building will start to hum with the sounds of restoration and change. Exteriors will be cleaned and restored, historic details repaired and retained, design challenges met and overcome. And soon people will be able to look up and see that they are doing something, not realizing that Act 1 is already completed, and Act 2 of the long production that is preservation is just beginning.